So we get this question a lot. Should I pay for an appraisal before I list my house? This way you and the agent can come up with an exact price of what the home is worth. And to me, that's a huge waste of money, okay? And there's two reasons behind this, all right? Number one, if you get an appraisal done, all right, let's say you pay one appraiser to come out. The way that they base their appraisal is based on their opinion, all right? So if they walk into your kitchen, and let's say you've updated your kitchen and you spent $50,000 on the upgrades, they break it down differently. They might say that it's worth $45,000. They might say it's worth $60,000. You never know the exact value that the appraiser is going to put on your upgrades because there's no real guidance for them to do so. Okay, they don't tell us or tell an appraiser, hey, if the homeowner spent $50,000 on their kitchen, then you need to give them a 10% increase on that kitchen. That's not something that's in writing. It's not something that they go by. So the truth of the matter is, if you went and you hired 10 different appraisers to price your house, chances are you're going to get 10 totally different prices, okay? So how accurate is that? If you can't get everybody on the same page to give you an exact price of what your house is worth and have that number be repeatable because it's systematized, then it's just the opinion of one person, and that's the truth behind it, all right? So if you want to gather as much information as possible, and you have, let's say you print out Zillow's estimate, you print out Realtor.com's estimate, you print out Redfin's estimate, you print out all the major websites, the MLS has one, you print out their estimates, you have, let's say 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 agents come over, and they show you their CMAs and how they do work. And then you let's say you call 1 or 2 appraisers out to your house and you're just trying to gather as much information as possible, then you can do that. But the chances are what that will do is it'll give you something within about 5 to 10% of a number that you think the house is worth, right? It's going to be somewhere in that range. It's much more feasible just to set up a range for your house, to say to yourself, okay, if I put my house up for this number, then chances are it's going to sell within a week, okay? Now, if I put my house up for this number, I don't think I'll get that price. And that gives you a floor and a ceiling to establish what your house is worth, all right? That's how you can do this. And then dialing in those little figures, they're going to, or dialing in that price down to the T is going to be just based on you and then the agent or whoever you want to pay to do this, coming up with an idea of what the previous sales sold for. It gives you the math on the property, and it's never going to be exactly the same when it hits the market because those sold properties are buyers that are no longer in the market, and they have no idea how buyers are going to react to your property once it actually goes on the market. And that's the truth behind it. Now, the second reason I do not suggest people pay for an appraisal is because it doesn't hold up for anything. Okay, unless you're going to use it for marketing, like you say something like, "Hey, I put together this certified home where I've done an inspection. I'm providing you with an inspection report. I'm providing you with the insurance documents you need, a home warranty, and I'm also justifying this certified home because here's an appraisal report," and you're marketing it that way, then great. But if you pay for an appraisal up front, what's going to happen is that when a buyer comes in and they have a mortgage on their property, they're going to get an appraisal, and their appraisal is not going to care anything about what the appraisal you paid for has to say. This appraiser is coming from the lender that's giving the buyer the money that they're going to need to purchase your home. So that lender sends out the appraisers that they work with, and they want to know what their opinion is of the price. And it doesn't matter if we say, hey, look, we just did an appraisal report, and you're saying one thing and this report's saying something else. It won't make any difference because that appraiser is hired by that lender, and that lender is going to go by what their appraiser says. So again, you'd be wasting money using that, trying to leverage the future appraisal because number one, they can't use it, and number two, they're not going to take that information and change their minds over what they've come up with. Okay, that's the two main reasons that you don't really want to spend money on an appraisal. They cost about $400. I think it's a huge waste of money if you do it. Now, on the flip side, let's say you do everything you can research-wise, all right? You call out 4 or 5 agents, they give you figures. You hire 2 different appraisals, they give you numbers. You look at Zillow, you look at Realtor.com, you look at Redfin, you look at Truly, you look at everywhere you can find, the MLS, anywhere you can find that gives you a roundabout price. And then still you put your house on the market, nothing, zero activity, no buyers show up. And that's very common right now in this market. So what gives? What the heck is going on? That's because doing all that research and coming up with a price and calculating all of that information means nothing until it hits the market and buyers decide if your house is worth what you think it's worth and what every other professional thinks it's worth. Until you see that kind of activity on your property, until these buyers start to show up, until you start to garnish a lot of activity, the market is not accepting things the way that you see them. And that's the truth behind it. The market and the math are two totally different things, and you have to know what the math shows, but you also have to come up with a strategy, a pricing strategy, to try to predict what these high qualified buyers are going to do. And that is the market, and that is the people who will buy your house, and they are the focus of every single transaction. And that's who you should be focused on, not wasting your money on paying people to do a whole lot of research for you, where in the end it's not going to make a difference unless it matches up with what the market is demanding, which we don't know until your house actually hits the market. Okay, so that's my opinion on appraisals. Now, of course, if you guys are look, anything you need with real estate, we're here to help. We love to answer any questions you have. If you need a referral for a contractor or anything with your house, really, we have a lot of resources over here, and we enjoy talking about real estate and offering anything we can to help. So if you ever need anything, please reach out anytime. And of course, we love your referral if that's something you're interested in, or you're interested in referring us to anybody else. We'll help anybody we can. So thanks for your time, and hope everybody has a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.